Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of Indie Gear. It's been a while since I filmed one of these, and yeah, life's not getting any easier, but I am bound and determined to finish this series. We got this one and a couple more, and then we're going to start talking about what you guys want to see of my fan film. I've been working my tail off on that, and that's why it's been a little bit harder to make these. Just too much stuff going on. But anyway, today's episode we're going to be talking about the holster and what all the options for the holster are. I did a whole bunch of research before I filmed this, and I am flabbergasted at the number of options that are available to buyers these days who are actually looking for a nice indie holster. Back in the day when I was buying this stuff, it was really hard to find, and you generally had to get one custom made or just get lucky off of eBay. But now this is like right at your fingertips. I've got a whole list of stuff we're going to go through here. They're all pretty evenly priced. Most of them are between $60 and $80, and it doesn't even matter where you get it from. It's going to be between $60 and $80. So my suggestion would be to buy from the place that is closest to you, wherever you are in the world, so that you're paying the least amount for shipping. All of these places that I'm going to name are, you're going to get a quality holster from all of them. So it's going to come down to a preference thing. Generally, I wait until the end of the video to show you what I have. I'm going to give you a quick look at my two holsters that I have here towards the beginning of this video. For those of you that want to shop on eBay, you'll know what to look for as far as a nice screen-accurate holster goes. So we're going to start off by saying the cheapest place to get a holster is going to be on eBay, if you can find a no-name one somewhere. If you look up Indiana Jones holster, which is what I did, the cheapest one you're going to be able to find is about $55. So you're only saving a little bit from going to one of those other sites, and it may or may not be reputable. You want to make sure that it's real leather, because these things are going to be holding guns, they're going to be rubbing against you all the time, and if it's a fake leather or something like that, the stitching's going to come undone. They're just not going to last very long. So you might as well step out and get yourself a really nice one. Most people, well, I shouldn't say most people, most indie geeks have two. One for their Raiders gun, and one for their Last Crusade gun. The Last Crusade gun had a longer barrel on it, so you're going to need to get yourself a different holster to fit that gun. So let me just start off by saying this is the first holster that I got that was a real nice screen-accurate indie holster. It still has a few things wrong with it. The length is a little bit too wide. This one is actually made for the Webley that Indy used in the Last Crusade. It's meant for a 5-inch barrel. I had this one custom made because I had a Raiders gun, a Smith & Wesson 38, that had a 5-inch barrel on it. For those of you that have seen my Indiana Jones gun series, you know the one that I'm talking about, the old World War II 38 gun. That one had a 5-inch barrel on it, so I couldn't fit it into a regular indie holster, which is why I got this thing. This one is from Make It Jones. It's made fairly well. It's also very old. Make It Jones actually makes holsters that are better than this now. You can get all sorts of different holsters from them in either 4 or 5-inch barrel lengths. And, let me get real close here, this strap here, depending on which version you're going for, might need an extra hole to be screen accurate. I'll show you my other holster here in a few minutes and you'll be able to see that. This one does have some scrapes and scuffs, and it's been beat up quite a bit. This is the one I've been wearing during my fan film. So all the action scenes that I filmed have taken their toll on this holster. But I don't mind. It makes it look kind of cool, in my opinion. In the back here, you'll notice that there are rivets for the belt loop. I believe Make It Jones now does stitching, which is a lot better than the rivets, in my opinion. You can ask them about that. We'll be discussing them later during this video. But this is basically what you're looking for as far as a good indie holster. About this shade. If you're going for Last Crusade, you want to get something that's a little bit darker, almost a gray color for the Last Crusade one. You want to make sure that the stitching is really nice. As I mentioned earlier, you want to make sure it's made out of real leather. And then the 1 or 2 holes up here, depending on which version you're going for. If you type in World War II revolver holster, you may get lucky. Basically, all we're looking for is a flap holster. That's another thing you can look for on eBay, is a flap holster. And you may be able to find something very, very similar to this for a very small amount of money. So that's going to be your cheapest bet. But my suggestion would be that if you want a really nice indie holster, step out, pay the $60, and get one of the other ones that I'll be discussing here very soon. So anyway, if you want to go on eBay, that's your best bet. Like I said, if you get lucky, you can find one on there for maybe $20. My first one was an old World War II flap revolver one. It didn't look like this, but it was kind of like a close enough type thing. And that was back before indie holsters were available. I got that when I was like 18 or something like that. And I paid like $15 for it. So, I mean, it did its job. It was cheap. It was still real leather. It just wasn't an Indiana Jones holster, and so nobody wanted it, which is why I got it for so cheap. But if you want to be a cheapo, you know, go on eBay, see what you can dig up. And that's all I'm going to say about that. That's not the route that I'd recommend, but it is available. So let's talk about some places that are reputable. And I'm going to start with Todd's Costumes because they're the cheapest, and they also offer a really nice holster. Unfortunately, like in most of these other videos that I've done, they're almost constantly out of stock with their holsters. If you can get one, get one. They're only $35. They're made of real leather. They look really nice. They'll hold up for a long time. You get a lot of bang for your buck if you can get the one from Todd's Costumes. But again, you're just going to have to get lucky on that. So, is what it is. We already talked about eBay. Make It Jones is another good one. I just checked their site before I made this video because I ordered that one, I don't know, 12 years ago or something like that. They are still offering pretty much any holster you want from any of the films, any shade, whatever, for 50 to 55 pounds, which I believe comes out to about $60 or $65, just like we were talking about. And this is a Make It Jones holster, but again, this is an old one. The one that you get from them now will be, I mean, you're not going to beat the quality on this. I mean, I can attest to the fact that this has been beat to hell and looks great. So you're still going to get the same quality, but it'll be a little bit more screen accurate. So just something to keep in mind there. 50, 55 pounds. Steel & Jones is another good one. They make good hats and good jackets as well, for those of you that haven't seen my other videos. And they can also make you a custom holster. They even offer packages where you can get like the holster and the belt and a whip holder and all those other things. We'll be discussing some of that when we get to the belt straps and whip holders one, which is a couple episodes away, I think. Theirs was $65, which is pretty competitive, but a pretty hefty shipping cost. Anywhere from $30 to $45 to have it shipped. So, I mean, you're looking at like $100 for a holster at that point. So unless you want to get one of their package deals that comes with the belt and the holster and the whip holder and some of those other things, you're probably better off looking somewhere else. I hate to say that about Steel & Jones because they're a great company and they make good stuff, but if you're looking for a holster, cheaper places to go. In fact, we might as well just talk about that right now. Magnolia Clothiers. I have spoken very poorly of them in some of my other videos because they make great stuff, but it's always overpriced. Not the case with their holster. In fact, you can get it directly from them off of Amazon for only $66. And that's for a Magnolia holster. So that's actually a really good deal. And you can't go wrong as far as the quality goes with Magnolia. And at that point, they're offering it at a competitive price point. So in this case, I would actually recommend getting a holster from them because it's right in the ballpark with everybody else. And if you live, I believe they're from the UK, so if you live over there, you might even be able to get it for less because the shipping is going to be cheaper. The $66, I believe it was $55 plus $11 shipping to get it here through Amazon. So if you live over on the other side of the world, you might actually be able to get it for less money. So might be something worth looking into for a good holster. And then, of course, we must talk about Wested. They always make good stuff, and their holster is no exception. They make a really nice holster. You can check it out. I mean, they're the ones that made the jackets for the first 3 films. You can get a jacket from them. You can get the holster from them. A shirt from them. They make decent shirts. Pants. They make decent pants as well. So, I mean, you can get almost the whole package from Wested if that's the route you want to go. Wested charges about £50 for their holster, which is right in the ballpark with all the other ones. And then, of course, you got to think about shipping. So, again, if you live close to them, it's probably a good buy, and if you don't, it's probably not. So, that's all I'm going to say about Wested for this one. I actually went on Etsy and was pleasantly surprised. I've been shopping more and more on Etsy as they've expanded, because you can get a lot of really nice handmade stuff on there. And if you type in Indiana Jones holster on Etsy, it's going to be no exception. You're going to find 4 or 5 different makers. Just make sure that you might want to ask about some of the things like the hole in the strap here, and whether or not it's made of real leather, and blah 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 blah, the right shade, things of that nature. But I just kind of did some quick browsing on there, and from what I found, you can get a nice holster in there for $65 to $80, and that's including shipping. So once again, we're in the same ballpark as all the other ones. And the last thing I want to talk about is screen capped leather. I've done a couple videos on screen capped leather. The fellow that runs the company, Brian Lalonde, he made this hat. And this is a really, really nice hat. I talked about that in the hat video. He's kind of getting away from doing leather work right now, because his orders for hats are growing at a very rapid pace. So he's kind of dropping the leather thing and going more towards hats, which is fine. I just kind of wanted to mention him because he does really good work. And I have a holster from him over here that we'll be talking about here in a moment. So, I believe that covers just about everything. Like I mentioned earlier, all of them are kind of within the same price point, so I would just get the one that you live closest to, because that's going to be the cheapest method of shipping, as long as they have the right barrel length that you're looking for, and the flap, the hole right here in the strap, the shade. That's all going to be a personal preference thing, so you might want to contact them before you order and say, hey, does the holster have A, B, and C? And if they say yes, place your order. And if they say no, move on to one of the other places on this list, because you're going to be able to find what you're looking for. The internet is a beautiful thing. I've been cosplaying Indiana Jones for over 20 years, and when I first started doing this, it was nearly impossible to put together a decent outfit. And as the years have gone on, I've learned to get the good stuff and kind of upgrade the outfit as I went along. But that's a story for another day. This episode is about the holsters, so let's just stay on topic here. So I already mentioned this Make It Jones one once before, so we'll just start with that one. This one is currently holding the prop gun that I used for the movie. This gun is also featured in my Indiana Jones props video. And we're going to be doing another video later on where to get yourself a good Indy gun. That will probably be the next episode. This is actually only a 4-inch barrel, because I sold my Smith & Wesson 38 that had the 5-inch barrel. However, it still fits in this holster just fine. There's just a bit of extra leeway there at the end, as you can see. But I'm very, very happy with this holster, and this is the only one that I had when I started filming the video. So I didn't want to switch to Brian's midway through for consistency reasons. But anyway, I really, really like this holster. I've had it for, like I said, about 12 years. It's gone on a million gazillion adventures with me. Holds up really well. I mean, yeah, it's beat up a little bit, but I kind of like that. And it looks great, and it will probably be seeing a lot more action before it's done. This is my other holster that Brian made for me from Screen Capped Leather and Hats. This is my Raiders holster. I got this one when I got rid of my 38, because then I wanted to get a holster that was good for a 4-inch barrel, which this one is, and I wanted to get the screen accurate strap with the extra hole in it right here, which this one has. Brian was willing to make it with or without the hole, depending on the customer's preference, and most of those other places that I mentioned will be willing to do the same thing. I also wanted the leather to be a little bit darker on this one, which it is. I really, really like the leather on this. It's It's flexible yet rugged. The coloring is kind of like a blend, so it almost looks like a used version of Indy's jacket. On the back, it's got the really nice heavy-duty stitching here. Really, really happy with this holster. Right now, this holster is holding my Smith & Wesson Model 10. This is my real Indiana Jones gun, and again, that's covered in my Indiana Jones gun series that you can also find on this channel about why I chose this particular gun for my Indy gun. But I love it. It's got a custom trigger that I put in it myself, and I did the bluing job on it because it was pretty beat up when I got it, but now it looks almost brand new again. Really, really happy with this sucker. So anyway, those are my two holsters and why I chose those two holsters. If I had to buy one again today, honestly, I'd probably go with the Magnoli one. Magnoli makes great stuff. You can get it from Amazon, so it'll ship fast. It's right in the price point with the other ones. And yeah, that's probably the one that I would pick. Just because, you know, Magnoli usually makes stuff that I am not able to get because of the price point. So if I had to buy one again, I'd probably just buy that. But honestly, in my opinion, it doesn't really matter that much. In some of my other videos that you've seen, it does. I'm pretty nitpicky about my stuff most of the time. But with this one, I mean, there were so many great holsters out there from so many different sellers. I mean, you really can't go wrong. Just pick one and buy it, and you're good. So, yeah, really, really easy to get a good Indy holster as long as you're willing to spend $60 to $65, and that would be my suggestion. Stay off of eBay for this one. Go with one of the buyers that, one of the sellers that I mentioned in this video, and you can't go wrong. So, anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. Next episode, we're going to be talking about prop guns and where to get them. We'll be discussing the gun I just showed it earlier in this video. That's basically the gun from Raiders and Temple of Doom. And I'll also tell you where you can get yourself a nice Webley and some things of that nature. So anyway, that's what we'll be doing next episode. Thanks for watching, and I will see you then. Have a good day.